Hi everyone, this is Sabrina.
Hi, this is Greg.
And Greg, my Mr. Incredible, is here with me today. Today we're going to share some crafty chit chat. Personally, I enjoy the crafty talk and having crafty conversations, sometimes watching the podcast, because for me it kind of helps me to continue to learn and process things in I guess in a more variety of ways, and it helps me process things more efficiently, and it helps me to think more creatively. In my, not the last video, the video before last, Carolyn, who is Tea Time and Dolls, she made a comment, and she said, she mentioned something about her quote-unquote inner world of thoughts and ideas. And for me, I have the same thing. I have this inner world of thoughts and ideas and conversations. But for me, I'm able to share that inner world with Mr. Incredible here. And it's not that he is creative in a papercraft sense, but he's not non-creative. He's what I call, what are you, like education and classroom creative. Some of his classroom themes and his bulletins, they would put some paper crafters to shame, in my opinion. Really what it is, and you can jump in with small things if you have a thought until I get to the main thought. Really for me what it is that he's an out-of-the-box thinker, and he has an ability to see things from like non-traditional ways, and it helps me to process those inner world thoughts. So I'm not talking to him when I'm sharing things with him. I'm not necessarily talking to him about color schemes or embellishments or products, but even though sometimes I drag him into that and he does tolerate me, it's more so talking out my creative thoughts and talking out those ideas. If there's something that I'm stuck on, if I need a different perspective, or I need his out-of-the-box view, that's what I'm talking to him about. And so I'm doing this video because I think that the way he thinks and the way he helps me with those thoughts and my creativity, even though it's not about a specific technique or strategy, I thought it might be helpful to some of you guys too. So I'm not a very frugal crafter. I do not mind spending the money on a tool or a product that I think is going to help me be more efficient, or it's going to kind of enhance what I'm doing. But we were having a discussion recently about how I can buy these things, and how I can work out in my head the things that I do want to spend money on, thinking about figuring out how many different ways I could use that product to make the cost of that product more valuable to me. And I guess now you can kind of jump in with that, with the linear versus...
All right. So what I was explaining to Sabrina, I'm just going to turn this over just so I'm kind of a audio visual type teacher / explainer, is that I believe that there is a time for in education, a paradigm shift, but I do see the correlation of that to what Sabrina does with crafting. And I'm going to kind of just show you this picture. I want to make sure I'm in camera here. This is, as you can see, it's a line. And I believe this is how we're taught to think. This is linear thinking. This line is going to represent linear thinking. So this line will represent answers in the way that we're taught traditionally. So I'm just going to write that here. This is the answer. All right. Now we're taught to find, you're in your classroom, you're giving a problem, and they ask you to give the answer, and you have a way to get to the answer. So you're giving a plethora of problems, or different types of problems, and those problems could be, anywhere. and these little dots that I'm making represent the problem, and there is one answer to these problems. This is where I feel the paradigm shift in thinking can expand the way that we not only deal with the way teaching and learning happens in public school, private school, at home, but also I was explaining to Sabrina, this is something I think she can use in crafting to kind of take her crafting to the next level. This is what I believe the paradigm shift is. This is the opposite. I believe that this is not an answer. We don't have linear answers. I believe that problems are linear and our answers are the infinite things that are around it. Now, I want to show you how that pertains to crafting, how I was explaining to Sabrina. Let's just say that I went to the store and I wanted to purchase this item. I think that this item is great and this item is semi-affordable. And what I mean by that is, it's not a break the bank item, because don't think about this as what it is. Think about this as item X. You know, it could be anything. Let's say that it's expensive enough that I have to think about the purchase, but it's not so expensive that it'll break the bank. Now, what I see as the issue is that every new thing needs to be bought, it seems like, in crafting. And I haven't watched I haven't watched a lot of different people, but the few folks I've watched just to try to figure out, you know, what Sabrina is doing so I can be competent in the conversation, that there are a lot of items to be bought in crafting. There's always something new. But I think that what's happening with crafters is they see an item and they buy it because it's new, but they don't see an item to say, how many things can I do with this? How many questions can be answered? How many problems can be solved?
How many projects?
How many projects can I do with this item? And that be the way that I value an item. Because this item may be lower in price, it may be extremely affordable, but because I can do so many projects with it, this item may be more valuable than that new Cricut or that new set of, you know, scissors or that new color scheme.
And of course, when we talk about value is the value to that person.
Right. And what I'm saying value is, we need to, as a society, and you need to, as crafters, in my opinion, need to look at what you already have in your cache and ask yourself, how many problems are solved? How many projects can I do with what I already have?
How many techniques? How many strategies?
What kind of things can I do with what I have? And take it item by item. Take it color by color. Take it machine by machine. Take it, you know, whatever, however you have your craft room set up. Take each item, whether it be a ruler, whether it be a set of colored pencils, whether it be a glue, whether it be something shimmery or something that is more opaque, whatever it is, whatever way you decide to, whatever your style is, and ask yourself, how many projects, how many problems does this one item answer? And start ranking what you have. And I think what you'll see is that some of the things that you already have, and this is what Sabrina, I was trying to explain to Sabrina, I think that she agrees with me, there are a lot of things that she already has in her cache that she can do so many things with, because the thing is, she could always have done those things, but she's never stopped to look to see how many other things can I do with this one item than what I originally purchased it for. Because she may have purchased it because she was doing a swap that dealt with coffee, but how many other things can she do with this one item?
And think about that for a minute, because that's exactly one of the points that I had. We buy it because we saw somebody else use it and we want to do the project that they made. We buy it because of a swap. We buy it because there is a purpose in mind. Most of the time there's some sort of purpose in mind for it, and then, you know, it serves that purpose and then it gets put aside.
Right. So what I'm saying is, before we make a purchase, before you awesome crafters go and walk into, you know, your local craft store, wherever that may be, and you go down the aisle and you see something you don't have, stop for a second and say, outside of the first thought that comes to mind or the first thing I was looking for to satisfy a current project, what other things can I do with this? Because what I think will happen is you'll start benefiting your pocket and your talent by forcing yourself.
Right there.
What,
My handwriting states,
right, what?
benefit your talent. It
All right.
benefits your talent.
All right, benefit your talent.
Your
All right,
creativity.
all right. I'm gonna write that because she told me to. Benefit your talent, and you can see I got really good teacher handwriting.
He sure does.
All right, so it benefits your talent to make your brain work in a different way, not to think linearly, saying I have to complete one project, but to think infinitely, saying I need to, how many projects, how many hundreds of projects can I complete with this item that I am considering purchasing new. Now, before you walk into another store, this is what I'm going to ask you to do, and it's going to take a little bit of time, so just follow me on this one. Go and reevaluate your craft room. Reevaluate the things that you have, reevaluate the tools that you have, and reevaluate what you've already done to see if there are more projects that you can do with what you already have, and expand your creativity by using what you have. I think that it is a very easy thing. As a below novice crafter, I can go into a craft store and buy a thing and make a thing. But it takes a different set of talent, a different set of creativity to use what I have to create something that I have never thought that I could do with that thing. So the same thing I ask my students to do in class is to not look at the problem as a problem, but look at it as a possible way to use infinite solutions to solve a thing. There's
and
more
that
than one
is
way.
the main point that I would like for people to remember, because it applies to all kinds of things. What you just said again, what you just said, that you, how would you demonstrate that to your students? Not to, because it, like you said, there's the problem, right?
All right.
My handwriting looks like a problem.
All right. So problems happen, again, problems happen linearly. This is a problem.
What's the problem? Because I'm saying this is the problem.
Okay, so we can, it doesn't matter what shape you use, but I like to use the linear because it shows a straight line. The problem, let's say the problem is, I have, you know what, this is, I'm going to take
linear is the thinking.
Linear is,
for me.
Right, this is how people are thinking now.
Right.
Right, so.
About that.
About this. All right, so I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna use this because I think this is a great opportunity.
Go ahead, keep going.
Because I can't do the thing. I'm waiting for you to finish. All right. So my thing is, I have this. What do you call this one?
It's a die.
A die. I have this die, and there's a cup, and there's a heart, and there are some leaves and like a clover
like
type.
Like a flower, and this is like the steam at the top.
Oh, steam at the top. Okay, great. Now, I know that I can do a project that deals with coffee with this thing. That's my thinking. All right, but my problem is that, so the problem is that the one problem I know I can solve is I can make a project that deals with coffee. But can I do something else with this? Can I take this and let's say, can I do something for teachers that say that you are filling students with knowledge and use the cup as the child and use this, you know, and say that you're filling kids with knowledge? Is that another project I can do? Can I take this flower and put it with this and possibly do something with that as well? And the only reason that we don't do that is that we come in with this one project in mind. I think this is me looking at crafters from the outside, being an outside observer. We look at crafting as one project. I need the things for this one project, and that is very linear.
So say what you told your students.
What I told my
demonstrate that.
All right. So what I told my students is, when you see a word problem and you say there is one, the question is asking you to put one answer in this box. Okay, so the question is, Johnny had 2 apples, Susie had 2 apples, how many apples did they have all together? You're looking for one answer to put in this box, which automatically makes us go back to this linear thinking. There must be one way to look at putting this one answer in the box, which is a lie. The truth is, there are many ways. I could say that I could add 2 plus 2 to equal 4. I could say that, oh, there are 2 people, and both of those people have 2 apples, and that equals 4. And I could say, well, if there's...
How did you show the lady at church? Because you showed her... You showed her,
I showed
very
her
basic.
Yeah, I showed her this.
Okay.
I showed her this. So this is, if I say this is the only way to get an answer to go into this box, I'm telling you that there is a linear way, there's a linear problem, and then there is a linear answer. And this is the way that our brains have been taught to do, the way that we've been educated. What I'm telling you is the paradigm shift is that the problem is still linear, but there are so many ways to answer that the answers create this three-dimensional bubble around this linear problem that I may come from. And I'm going to give you another example. If I were to show, I know I got to hurry up. All right, if I show you this bottle and I say, describe to me what you see, you'll tell me that, oh, it says, metallic paint, and it says extreme sheen. But there's another person who's looking at this side of the bottle, and they explain it to me, and they say what they see on their side, and they explain what's on their side, and none of you are wrong because you explained it from your perspective.
Look at that again, people, please. These are these little moments that for me in my brain, this is the bottle. This is the bottle. I'm on this side. He's on this side. Describe it to me. Oh, it says metallic paint, extreme sheen by Deco Art, costs $2.99. He's on the other side.
And all I see is instructions on how not to eat it.
Instructions on what to do, maybe ingredients in the bottle. Like he said.
So the question would be, describe the bottle. She described the bottle, and I described the bottle, and we're both right. What I've been taught to think is the person who asked the question, their perspective, which might be this one, is the only perspective. That's the only way to describe it, and that is incorrect. There are more than one way to describe this bottle that is right, and that goes back to there being perspective and infinite opportunities to answer a problem. There are infinite opportunities for you to take what you have to do something else that nobody else has thought of, that they say, I cannot believe that you did that with that cup dye. And it says, you know what, from my perspective, that is something else I can do. And that goes back from seeing what you have and using your talent as creative people to take this to a whole nother level, not based on the linear reason that you bought it, but the infinite ways that you can use.
Infinite answers. And when he said that to me, that's what I took for my creative processing about techniques, looking at strategies, looking at things from so many different standpoints. I was thinking of Psalms 123:1. It says, unto you I lift up my eyes, O you who dwell in the heavens. Looking up, I look up unto you, of course, talking about the Lord. But as I was thinking and praying about that, what I said to my husband, and I can't, if you would draw a tree or whatever, that the higher your vantage point always gives you more options. Well, not that it's better, but actually, because I was going to use the heart.
Oh, okay.
Because if you're down here and you're thinking linearly, right? This is your perspective. The higher up, the higher your vantage point, the more options you can see. Does that make sense? All right, so I'm kind of gonna cut it here a little bit because we've been going already for 15 minutes, I think, and I know the chitty chat, it makes the videos longer. I understand that, but for me, I was explaining to my husband earlier too that I tend to watch the long videos, and I watch the podcast, certain ones. There's certain people that I watch and I benefit from. Sometimes I break it up, right? If somebody has a long video, it's 30 minutes. I know I can't sit for 30 minutes. I'll break it up. I'll watch 10 minutes here. I'll watch 10 minutes there. But I'll watch the complete video. I'll sit and watch it when I'm getting ready to eat or having a cup of tea if I'm waiting for my kids to come out of school. The point I'm making is that I'll watch the whole thing because it's that one little nugget of information, that one little technique, that one embellishment, or it's that one little piece of something that I can take away and apply it to my way of crafting that ends up really either improving what I'm doing or enhancing what I'm doing. So I get it. I know it's long. I know we're talking. But really, when you're watching and when you're listening, just think about the one thing that you can take away Remember I talked about the twist, adding a twist to something. Just take the little nuggets that you can take. Your perspective is always going to be different. Take it and apply it to your way of crafting, because I feel like it just, that's how we pour value into each other. Does that make sense?
Makes perfect sense
to you?
Mm-hmm.
That's how we give value to each other, when we, especially when we're talking about the body of Christ too. Any body, any community, that's how we share and we give and we edify each other, so that we can just keep getting better. So now I'm going to do the giveaway real quick, and this was from the I have to abbreviate it. It's going to have to be, what did I call it? I'm going to call it QTTR, because it was the quick tip technique reminder. And I have this die to give away. 7 of you responded. So what I decided to do is to give away 3 dies instead of the 1. Mr. Incredible is going to pick the names, and then I'll let you guys know.
Pick how many names? 1?
Just pick one at a time. There's going to be 3.
All right, this is sharing more.
That's Ebony. Girly girl. He picked your name first, Ebony. All right, sharing more. Pick another one.
This is Hands of a Miracle.
Hands of a Miracle. And I don't know her name, but she's been commenting. So Hands of a Miracle. Number 2. This, I'm not, they don't go with these dies. I'm going to tell you guys what to do in a minute. And one more.
Lovekins.
Lovekins. Okay, so we got the 3. All right, this is what I want you guys to do. I want you to email me. I'm going to put the email in the link. So this is, follow the directions, please. Email me your first, second, or third choice. So there's a teacup. There's a, this is what, a pitcher. It's a milk jug. So this is the teacup. This is the milk. It is a milk jug. I know.
With a spoon?
With a spoon. Yeah.
All right.
And the rosette. So email me. Tell me your first, second, or third choice. And I'm not sure if this is how Gracie21 did it, but this was my understanding of it. So you email me your first, second, and third choices. The first person to email me, you will get your first choice. The second person, the second email that I get, you'll get well, if your first choice is available, you get it. Otherwise, I got to move to your second choice. And then, of course, the third email, that's how we're going to do it. You'll get what's left over. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. Please comment. If you have questions, if you know, these are just my sessions with Mr. Incredible. This is the way I get to share my inner world with him, and I get the benefit of his out-of-the-box thinking. And I'm kind of sharing that with you guys, so you get to benefit a little bit too. Have a wonderful day. God bless, and I'll talk to you again soon.
Bye-bye. Bye.